Hello there dear viewer. Today's video is going to be about the wonderful boutique Blu-ray label Second Sight Films, who I have featured a lot over the channel over the past few years. And if you're familiar with the label, you will know that their level of quality and the care and attention they put into the releases is of the highest standard. I have some of their recent releases from the past few months that I'm going to be talking about in this video. I've got the Blair Witch Project on this fantastic Blu-ray limited edition. So much to say about this, so stick around for that. I also have the 4K edition of Late Night with the Devil, which I will be talking about. And while I'm not going to talk about it in this video, I did just get the release of Creep, which has just come to me now, and I haven't watched this yet, so I won't be talking about this in this video, but I'm sure this is of the very high standard of the other releases. So I'm going to start with the Blair Witch Project. This is a film which has such a massive reputation in terms of being an independent film which made a whole load of money at the box office from a very meagre budget. If you somehow do not know about the Blair Witch Project, we follow these three young people who go into the woods to find out more about the local legend of the Blair Witch. And they are filmmakers, so they have taken two different cameras into the woods to kind of film their findings, but they get lost and a lot of eerie things start happening. Back in the 1990s, when the film had its initial release, it had this iconic marketing campaign where essentially many people were led to believe that this film was real and that it wasn't fictional at all. And this was a found footage tape of these three people that went missing in the woods. And it had so much buzz around it, which led to, its tremendous box office success. But the film has had a troubled release on home media, at least according to the filmmakers, because they said up until this very release, the film had never been shown as it should have been on home media. So with the filmmakers involved for this release, this is by all means the definitive edition of this film. And in my opinion, this is one of the best Blu-ray releases of the year in terms of the presentation of the film and of course in terms of everything else you get on the disc and all the physical stuff in the box. Initially, a lot of people said, why is this a Blu-ray only release? Why didn't it get a 4K disc? Well, if you know the film, most of the footage was shot on a video camera, so the quality there is capped by the nature of the technology. So having a 4K version of that footage, well, you would have to upscale it if you wanted some kind of noticeable increase in resolution. And that just wouldn't be authentic to the film, and it wouldn't really feel like how it was shown when it was shown theatrically. So to any people that are on the fence with this because they want a 4K version of this, I don't think that's ever going to happen, and I don't think there is any need for that to happen with this particular film. So the presentation of the film, I think it's a perfect presentation, and there isn't really anything else that you would want from a 4K disc. The one thing I should mention is there is an audio issue on the disc here. The film is presented in mono rather than with the appropriate stereo track. And Second Sight have already announced they're going to do a disc replacement program for this. So do be aware of that. And I don't know actually if this is available while they are changing over the discs. But if it is, you should still be able to get that disc replacement at a future time. To be honest with you, I actually didn't even notice that. I hold my hands up. So for me, it wasn't even a big issue when I was watching this film. I just thought that was how it should sound. And I admit I'm not the biggest expert with this particular film, but something to bear in mind if you are waiting for that issue to be fixed. So let's have a look at what you get in the limited edition. You have this wonderful artwork here. Unfortunately, my case has a big dent in it. Well, not a big dent. It's quite a small dent actually, but it's noticeable. On the back, it's just black, and then you have the name of the film on the spine. So let's see what you get inside. First of all, there's this digipack with the two discs. On the first disc, you get the feature film, but there are different cuts of the film. And on the main theatrical version of the film, you do have two audio commentaries on there. The second disc has all of the special features on there. Namely, there is a feature-length documentary about the production of the film by Second Sight Films, which just adds to this release and honestly makes it one of the best releases of this year for me. And we're getting close to the end of the year, so I'm pretty sure when I get round to my end of year lists, this one will be ranking very highly. We've also got some art cards, the original poster design, and then some of the new designs. You then get this book. This is a reproduction of Heather's journal. It's like a diary journal, which is a fantastic read. And I loved that Second Sight included this in the release. But on top of that, you get this massive book. It's a 184 page hardbound book. Second Sight have done this for a number of their releases now. And these are just the best quality book extras that I've ever seen with a Blu-ray release. These could honestly be sold separately and people would pay a good chunk of money for this kind of thing. So the fact that it comes included with the film and with all the extra stuff, I just absolutely love getting a chance to spend time with these books that Second Sight include in their releases. There's all sorts of writings and production materials. There's so much to get into here. Like I said, 180 pages. It's a big old book. So that's the Blair Witch Project on Blu-ray from Second Sight Films in this limited edition. I think the film absolutely still holds up, and it's very frightening, especially as you get towards that end sequence, which is just so good. I think this is a great film, and they have done such a great job in presenting it in this way for fans of the film. It gets my highest recommendation. Now I'll just talk about Late Night with the Devil. This is a 4K release of the brand new film which came out, was it this year? So it's a brand new film starring David Dastmalchian, who you might recognise from a whole host of films where he plays very kind of creepy characters. Here he isn't playing a creepy character at all. He's playing a talk show host in the vein of Conan O'Brien or someone like that. And it's on this particular night when they are doing spooky things. They're having spooky segments on. They're talking to psychics and a little girl who is possessed, apparently. And as the talk show progresses, things start to escalate and a lot more spooky things start happening. So the structure of this film is as though you're watching a late night talk show on television. Now, I have to admit to you, I've only seen this film once on this release. For me, it didn't fully work because I think the film doesn't quite commit to what it's doing. Within the film, they use a mixture of what you might call found footage. So this is the recording tape of the live television show, as if you are watching what they recorded on that night. But then they mix this with some behind the scenes footage in black and white with some of the characters in the film. And it's this that sort of takes me out of this film because it doesn't feel like you're watching a late night talk show. And I've watched tons of them over the years, whether it's Letterman, Leno, Conan O'Brien, or Dick Cavett, going back and watching old Dick Cavett recordings. So I kind of know what a late night TV show feels like, and I feel that this film does not fully sell that. So already it's on the back foot before any of the spooky stuff even starts happening. And then the mixture of these types of footage just continue to take me out of the experience, even though the more kind of horror elements start to creep in as the film progresses. I think if the film stuck to doing one thing or the other, either the found footage-esque stuff or the being a recorded kind of horror drama thing, would have made more kind of sense. I'm thinking something like Ghostwatch, you know, if it really committed to that and made it seem like you were watching a found footage thing, that would have been more appealing to me. And I know it's something that people have commented about online, but there are some uses of AI within the film, only for the kind of title cards for the talk show, you know, the we'll be right back kind of thing. But within the image, you can instantly tell that it's AI generated because the pumpkins and the skeletons just do not look quite right. So again, that's just something that took me out of the experience. I'm not outraged by the use of AI like some people are in the film, although it does seem like they could have gotten an artist to very quickly do those designs because it wouldn't take too long. So perhaps some cutting corners from the filmmakers there, but overall the film just did not work for me. It's a real shame because on paper this sounds like something that I would absolutely love. A late night talk show going horribly wrong when they have a possessed child on there and there is a devil possessing people, and that sounds great, but just the execution here just did not work for me. With all of that said, if you are a fan of the film, Second Sight have done a wonderful edition. The 4K looks great. I didn't spot any issues with the 4K presentation, and the limited edition hardbox is as good as they ever do it. Whenever I review these Second Sight hard boxes, limited editions now, I feel like I'm just saying the same thing over again because they keep up that same level of quality with the actual physical presentation. Inside you've got some art cards of some of the characters like this. You get the film in this digipack on 4K and a Blu-ray, and there is this 120 page book with some great essays and some behind the scenes stuff as well. So a great release of a film that just unfortunately did not work for me, but perhaps on a future rewatch I might change my mind. So that was just a quick video looking at these recent Second Sight films releases, and I've got the new Creep edition to watch tonight. So I will inform you on what I think of that sometime in the near future. If you want to buy these, I'll include some purchasing links in the description of the video below, which do help support this channel at no additional cost to you. So I thank you if you do use those. If you want to stick around on the channel and get some more recommendations from me, just click the video that's presented on screen right now. Thanks very much for watching, and I'll see you soon.